Well, the channel's officially at 10,000 subscribers, which is not something I thought I would be able to say for a long time. So, what better way to celebrate it than a Q&A session with the people that make this possible? Now, before we get too far into this, I also want to give a huge thank you to you longtime supporters. You guys know who you are, and I also know you guys know none of this would be possible without you guys. So, especially to the few of you who have actually stuck with me this whole time. I mean, most of you guys are channel moderators at this point anyway. So now with that out of the way, let's get into the Q&A. We're going to start off with the questions from the Discord server, which, by the way, link in the description if you guys want to join that. What do I hope Twisted adds in the future? You know, I have a lot of hopes for the future of Twisted, and I don't think Twisted is gonna be done getting updates anytime soon here. But a couple things that I've always wanted to see in Twisted are different storm modes. I feel like that'd be something that'd be really cool to see somewhere along the line in the future. I would love to see, QLCS systems, even derechos, even just some simple squall lines, even if they aren't that strong. I just want to see something other than like a basic supercell structure and tornadoes. Like I want there to be other focuses to the game than, well, other weather-related focuses to the game than tornadoes. Which vehicle is my favorite and why? My overall favorite vehicle in Twisted is probably the Tornado Wrangler, just because of its practicality in any situation. It holds 3 probes, it's the fastest dirt speed vehicle, it's the fastest grass speed vehicle by far, it has a pretty good road speed, and if you get in a sticky situation, you can deploy if you need to. Like, I don't think there's a more practical vehicle anybody could ask for in the game. What would be my favorite 1.22 car from the leaks? Some vehicles I've been looking forward to seeing in game for a while are definitely Tornado Attack. I also think it'd be really cool to drive the Urban Tornado Assault vehicle. What games do I like to play on Roblox apart from tornado games? Also, what is my opinion on Grow a Garden? So I'm just going to get this out of the way. I absolutely hate Grow a Garden. It is quite literally ruining Roblox as we speak. But as far as games I like to play on Roblox apart from tornado games, I'm going to be honest, I just don't play any game that's not a tornado game, except for every now and then I might play something like Car Crushers 2. But then again, I rarely play that, and when I do play it, it's with a large group of friends. So, what is my favorite Twisted video? Now, I'm not sure if you're speaking about on my channel or just altogether, but since I don't know the answer to that, I'm just going to give you both. My personal favorite Twisted video I've ever made is probably... oh man, that's actually kind of hard. The recent Twisted Hardcore mode video is definitely up there. I also really like the idea behind the Twisted but if I die the difficulty increases video. And I also like the way I put together the everything new in 1.21.1 video. But I think the best Twisted video of all time is kind of an obvious choice. Tofu's video on the 227 event, like, I don't think it gets much better than that. It's just a extremely well-made video, like, all things considered for the time and anything, like, especially for nostalgia purposes, like, especially back then in Twisted 1.17, there wasn't a better video, like, hands down. But an honorable mention on that list is definitely Tofu's 10 million cape video. I've watched that a number of times as well. How much do I actually know about IRL meteorology, such as forecasting and environmental analysis? So when it comes to forecasting, you probably is pretty guessable, but I'm pretty stupid when it comes to forecasting. Basically, all of my forecasting information I ever get is from Kraz because he's just way better at it than I am. But as far as environmental analysis goes, I think I am significantly better than that, or at that, in comparison to forecasting anyway. But yeah, I don't do too much with meteorology outside of like tracking storms and stuff, really. I mean, I try to dip my feet into forecasting every now and then, but I mean, practice makes perfect, but it's also hard to practice for meteorology and stuff when it's not storm season, so it would definitely be something I'd be better at if I actually had all year to practice it, and the best time to practice it happens to be during exam time for most people's schools, especially in the Northern Hemisphere. So it's just unfortunate the way everything is laid out. It's hard to get better at some of that stuff. Why don't I play other games on the channel, like Steam games or other Roblox storm chasing games? So this one's kind of simple. I would play other storm chasing games, but every storm chasing game has its reason I don't play it as much. Like, for example, SCR7 great tornado system. I don't play it because I'm not a huge fan of the map. Again, with Helicity, I would play it more often if there was just a little bit more replayability to it. I have a feeling that a lot of that results in there not being very many vehicle options, as well as the map being very small in comparison to most other storm chasing games. And as far as games outside of storm chasing games, the main reason I don't upload them onto the channel is just because it's easier for me to enjoy them when I don't have to worry about recording or anything like that. And plus, even if I put all that effort into it anyway, it would get like 4 views. What's my favorite band/song? So it's hard to choose just one when it comes to a topic like this, especially since I'm such a nerd when it comes to music. Not that I'm musically talented or anything, but it's hard for me to choose one. But a lot of my favorite bands right now are Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, Children of Bodom, Megadeth, Death. But yeah, I'd say I listen to like a decently wide range of genres and stuff. Like, I don't listen to pop or rap or anything like that, but I listen from anything to like Radiohead all the way to like some like deathcore bands. So, would you rather not have gone AFK during the 8th record attempt during my attempt to end an official Twisted Record video, or placed a full HP probe during that one extremely violent tornado in the multiple 290+ mile an hour tornadoes ravaged Keysota video? Definitely not have gone AFK during the 8th attempt, because that tornado was probably way stronger than the other tornado. The other tornado, we did some Dow scans and estimated to be around 337 at peak winds. But the couplet on that one alone suggested that it was probably like 350 plus, bro. I'm not even joking. That thing was insane. Will I ever make another Legacy video? If yes, how often? Yeah, I do plan to make more Legacy videos in the future. Probably not extremely often, like maybe only a couple times a year, but I really do enjoy playing Twisted Legacy, and I have a lot of ideas for content for it in the future. It's just Legacy, I get burnt out on Twisted Legacy versions way faster than I ever would with modern Twisted. Like, I don't know how, but I'm still not really that burnt out on 1.21. Probably just because it's so mysterious, and like it feels like there's still so much to learn, even though we probably know everything we can figure out and the rest is just arbitrary. But what is my favorite version of Legacy? For nostalgia reasons, 1.17 is my favorite Legacy version currently, but I think the best Legacy version is 1.19, but you know, in chronological order, the versions typically just get better as time advances, so that probably goes without saying. I say that, but 1.19 will probably still be my favorite Legacy version once we get 1.20 in here, so. Will I play other storm chasing games like Outbreak, Helicity, and Storm Chasers? Kinda already answered this question just for Helicity, but as far as Storm Chasers go, I think that game needs another pretty big update before I play that on the channel in any sort of way, because that game gets boring after your first like half hour. And as far as Outbreak, I still think it's way too far behind in like any technological sense for me to want to play it. Like, I don't know why I just don't find Outbreak fun at all. That's most likely due to the graphics of that game looking like I'm playing it on a PlayStation 2. But what do I think about War Thunder? I have never played that game in my entire life, nor do I plan to. Do I want to storm chase IRL? Yes. Pretty simple answer for that one, but yeah. What thumbnail software do I use, and have I ever seen a tornado or ever storm chased? For making thumbnails, I use Pixlr. It's actually not a software, but rather a website on your browser. I've learned it quite well. I feel like it's pretty accessible for most people. They also have a more accessible mode just in case you're not the most seasoned photo editor of all time. And as far as seeing a tornado, yes, I have seen a tornado in person, but I have never storm chased. So the tornado I've seen, yes, indeed, was from my backyard. And before anyone asks, no, I don't have a video of it. It was at night and it lasted like 15 seconds. What's my favorite unique interceptor? Like something other than the Tip 2 or Dominator 3. If you count it, the Tornado Wrangler. If you don't count the Tornado Wrangler, probably just Dominator 2. I don't know. What is some feedback I can give small Twisted creators? And how can you improve your videos? So the best tips I can give to any small Twisted creator is just keep at the grind. The algorithm might not pick you up quite well at first, but as long as you keep working at it and improving your video quality, the algorithm will pick you up eventually. After I started making Twisted content, it took me quite literally exactly a year. Like, I'm not even kidding. My first Twisted video was uploaded on April 30th, 2022. And on April 30th, 2023 is when I hit 1,000 subs. But yeah, a lot of Twisted content creation, especially towards the beginning, is just about consistency and making sure every video is better than your last, while most importantly, of course, still having fun while you're doing it. What encoder do I use for my live streams, and is it free and usable for Mac? I can't even lie. I am so stupid when it comes to that stuff. I don't even know what half of what you just said means. Most of my stuff for OBS and Streamlabs is just on the default settings, bro. But as far as encoder, I think I use my GPU as like a hardware encoder, if that's even a thing. I don't know anything about this stuff, man. You think I would after having a YouTube channel for this many years now, but nope. How did I come across the game Twisted and Helicity? Twisted, I came across, I think I was just searching for tornado games, and my friend showed me Twisted. And Helicity, I think I saw somebody on my Roblox friends list playing it. I got curious and I joined, and I was like, hey, you know what? This doesn't suck. And that wraps it up for the Discord questions. And now we're going on to the questions in the comment section of the YouTube post. So a couple of these first ones have multiple questions within them. So let's get started. First one here is, what was my strongest and widest tornado in Twisted? Strongest tornado is 334 miles an hour on Christmas Eve. As far as I've probed anyway, I've definitely had stronger than that, but I suck at the game, so. And my widest tornado in Twisted, I measured at 7.12 miles wide, and it was completely off map. And then what my favorite vehicle to use in Twisted is, I think I already answered this, but the Tornado Wrangler. And I first started playing Twisted in March of 2022. This next one asks, when will I start IRL chasing? When I can afford it. Storm chasing is very expensive, so when will I do a face reveal? I'll do a face reveal when the time is right. I don't see myself doing one in the near future at all. And will I make gaming videos with a webcam? Even after I reveal my face, I'm probably still not gonna do that, just because I feel like it takes away from the quality of Twisted videos, especially in the content style I do. Just doesn't fit quite as well. And what songs do I mainly use in videos? A lot of the music I use is from all over the place, but there's a creator called Massobeats that I get a lot of music from. That's like probably about half the music you hear on the channel is from them. So, and then we have another one with multiple questions. How did I discover Twisted? I already answered that. How did I get into storms? I believe the first like introduction I had to like the storm chasing scene was from the TV series titled Tornado Chasers, which is just Reed Timmer's POV of the 2013 storm season. And then what is the funniest moment I think I've posted? That's subjective for most people, but I think the goofiest moment I've ever posted is probably a clip from this video where I got struck by lightning, started complaining about how I always get struck by lightning. About 30 seconds go by, I get struck by lightning again, and then before I can even finish complaining about getting struck for a second time, I get struck a third time. So yeah, that was pretty goofy. During my Twisted career, what is my biggest regret / mistake? Definitely not getting into the game earlier. I knew the game existed multiple months prior to me actually starting to play the game. I don't know why I waited to start playing the game until a couple months after I discovered it. But yeah, I definitely wish I would have played it the first time I ever knew about the game. What is my favorite intercept vehicle in Twisted and what variant? Tiv 2 2024 variant. It's probably a pretty basic answer, but out of the Chaser Warehouse, that's definitely my favorite vehicle. And as far as outside the Chaser Warehouse goes, I've already said this a trillion times, but the Tornado Wrangler. Is the 2010 Hyundai Genesis Coupe 3.8 the greatest car ever created? Let's see, what does this thing even look like? You know what? I was expecting something hideous like a Kia Soul, but that's not even that bad. It's probably not the greatest car ever created, but sure, I guess it's pretty good. What is my favorite IRL tornado? Again, this is definitely a very basic answer, but Dodge City. What is my least favorite intercept vehicle? Now, if we're talking base variants, Tiv 1, but if we're talking about any variant of any vehicle in Twisted, definitely 2020 Tiv 2. What is my microwave brand? I'm not sure why you would ask this, but I have an LG microwave. What's the highest amount of money I've ever made on a probe? I'm gonna be honest, I can't even tell you. I don't keep track of things like that. Probably just 12,500, which is the max for the TwistX Tower probe. I feel like I've probably made more off of like maybe a Toto or something with like a really strong tornado. But yeah, it's definitely not more than like 15,000. What do I think could be added to Twisted and Helicity both to make the games better? As far as Twisted goes, I already answered this, but more storm modes would be nice to see. And Helicity, I think, definitely needs a bigger map and more vehicles. What is my favorite state? Now, there are a lot of states in this country that I absolutely love, but the state that tops that list is definitely Texas. Now, I've never been there, but I would absolutely love to go to Texas at some point. I mean, it's just baffling to me that there can be that many different types of climates in one state. I mean, you have the ocean, you have like densely wooded areas, but you also have the desert on the other side of the state. Like, no other state in the nation has that, especially with the Great Plains in the middle, like to connect it all. It's just like, oh my gosh, you can get like the best parts out of the entire US in one state. Like, the only thing it doesn't have is mountains that are like, I mean, it still has mountains, they're just not like huge. What is my strongest tornado? I already said that my strongest probe is 334, but my strongest tornado that I've ever seen is probably somewhere in the 350s right at the end of 1.20. I think it's in my very last video, actually. I want to clarify that's the very last video of 1.20, not my most recent video before this one. When was my first 300 plus tornado? The first time I ever got 8,000 cape in 1.19. The final tornado, the second tornado in that risk was 327 miles an hour and 1.77 miles wide. To this day, that is still my strongest tornado in 1.19 legacy as well. Am I planning any collabs with other YouTubers? I am, but I'm going to keep it a surprise, so stay tuned for that. What is my favorite game besides Twisted or ATS or The Hunter Call of the Wild? I'm assuming that's what you mean other than Hunting Simulator, because I don't play that. To be honest, I literally don't play any other games. I mean, I guess Minecraft, but yeah. What are my goals outside of YouTube? I mean, I don't know, build better bonds with the people around me, I guess. And how come I use interceptors to probe and not civilian vehicles that hold more probes? So I actually do use civilian vehicles quite a lot. I just don't really use them on videos that much because, one, using interceptors is more entertaining to watch, and two, interceptors have a higher minimum threshold, so I can get closer to tornadoes and have more close calls without dying. What is the best thing that's ever happened to me? I mean, as one of my birthday gifts, I got concert tickets to see my favorite band, and Kraz was there, and that was the first time I ever met him in person, so that's definitely up there. What's the biggest mistakes I've ever made when chasing a good storm? So the 337 incident with my probe not being full health is definitely up there, but I've also deleted my probe, being the genius I am, by complete accident while it's still in the tornado. Like, it got into the core and I thought it was the back end, so I just deleted it. Do I have a pet rock named Cody? No, but I need him. I need him right now. Would I ever make my own storm chasing game, whether it's me or a team? If I ever did that, it would definitely be with a team because I'm not smart enough, nor do I have enough time to do that on my own. But I've considered it in the past, and after thinking about it, I don't really think I want to have my own storm chasing game because that comes with a lot of responsibilities that I don't want to sign up for. And I don't really think the storm chasing game market, especially on Roblox, really needs any more games right now. We have plenty of up and coming games that are looking pretty good so far that are still in development. Do I like fishing? I've been fishing a couple of times in recent history, but definitely not my favorite activity by any means. I mean, despite growing up in practically the middle of nowhere, I'm not really the biggest country person of all time. But yeah, I go fishing every now and then, but it's not really my favorite thing to do. Who truly owns the 8B6 Wrangler, formerly known as the B-Mobile? Well, you called it the B-Mobile, but the first person to make an 8B6 Wrangler was Ralstar, so I don't know. Why don't we let the comments decide? Will I ever vlog, and will I ever face reveal? So if I do ever do a vlog, it'll probably be an IRL storm chasing vlog, which is probably not really in the nearest future, and a face reveal would come with that when I do make IRL storm chasing content. Have I ever thought about storm chasing in real life? I think the answer to the previous question answers that pretty well, but yes. What do I expect from the next Twisted update? So I don't know how common knowledge this is, but I've said it on stream a couple times, but I am actually a tester for Twisted, so I know a lot more about the future updates than most people will. Therefore, I'm not actually allowed to talk about most of the things that are coming out in the next Twisted update, so I guess what I can say I expect from the next Twisted updates are the things that they have officially leaked so far. If chocolate is made from cocoa and cocoa is a plant, does that make it a salad? Hold on, you might actually be onto something here. You know what? Yeah, I'll give it to you. It does. What is my favorite town in Twisted for chasing? I really love seeing tornadoes in the Hibbing to like Mizpah, Starbuck area. That's definitely some of my favorite terrain to chase in. What was my widest tornado? I already said that I got a 7.12 measured tornado, but that same tornado only like actually counted as like 6.5 or something like that. But hard to say because it was completely off map. So best animal besides hamsters. Not exactly sure why hamsters are exempt from the argument here, but I guess like the bald eagle is pretty cool. America or something. Does Fusion have a real job? First off, Whoa, buddy, there's Twisted players watching this video. You gotta censor the J word. And no, I'm not employed. Yet. How good do I think 1.22 will be, and how hyped am I for it? I think 1.22 is probably going to be the best Twisted update to date so far. It sucks that we're not going to get the new map with it, but I'm ready. Will you let us mods out of the basement? Okay, listen, they're not supposed to know you're in there. If you leak something like that again, I'm cutting your rations next. Which color do I like better, 8-beep6 or the pink tundra color? Probably 8-beep6, but I don't know, the pink tundra's pink. What is the best thing I've seen in a chase? Yeah, I don't know. I've had a lot of good moments in chases. It's hard to pinpoint one specific tornado, but the 334 I got on Christmas Eve was pretty cool because it was kind of like a Christmas present from Twisted, because I haven't seen a single 300 since that day, and it's been 7 months. What vehicle do I use for storm chasing, and if I don't storm chase, what would I use? So I don't have a storm chasing vehicle, but if I did buy a vehicle just for storm chasing, it would probably be any kind of SUV, really. Likely a Toyota RAV4 or maybe like a Chevy Tahoe or something like that. What is my favorite variant of Dom 2? The 2013 variant is pretty cool. It just sucks that it only has one probe, and I don't think it's supposed to be like that either. I'm pretty sure it's bugged. Should I get Raxpool or Dow 3 next? Out of the two you just listed, Raxpool is infinitely better, so definitely Raxpool. Will I ever upload an IRL storm chasing video? Well, in order to do that, you have to go storm chasing, and I haven't exactly done that yet, so if I go storm chasing, probably yes. Will my upload schedule ever recover? At this rate, probably not. I'm definitely more of a quality over quantity type of YouTuber, so I'd rather have a lot less videos and better videos than pumping out actual garbage every day. So I'm probably never going to see an upload schedule ever again, but I'm just more focused on making my videos higher quality than making more videos. How often do I get barrel tornadoes, and are they good or bad? So barrel tornadoes are a complete random chance, so I don't get them very often. I don't know. I kind of get them in like groups. Like I'll get a lot of barrels and then I'll go a while with no barrels. But barrels, for the most part, are a good thing because they're the only way to get tornadoes larger than 2,000 feet, and they're usually pretty strong when you do get them. But they are so unbelievably ugly that I would say that they're mostly bad in some cases. Will I like the new Twisted map or prefer the original? Based off of what I've seen so far, the new map is better in every way possible. Thoughts on how ridiculous barrel wedges are in the current state of the game? Honestly, I think tornadoes need to have a hard cap for width. We do not need any more 400 milers ever again, bro. We need a hard cap, some like, I don't know, I think maybe 5 miles would be good for like the absolute max. Compared to previous updates, how good do I think 1.22 will be? I think I already said this, but it's probably going to be the best update so far. When it comes down to storm chasing in real life, what do I consider my favorite tornado pick? Well, probably isn't much of a surprise, but my favorite tornado picture is from my favorite tornado, and it is this picture of the Dodge City tornado right here. What is my opinion on Twisted's update schedule, considering that the game has a major update only once a year? Obviously this needs to change, so I think there is definitely going to be more of an effort in the future to have less huge updates and more releasing of content as it's ready. At least that's what's been said. Don't take my word for it. Dom or Tiv? Definitely Tiv in like almost every way imaginable. How did I choose my username? So prepare your ears, it is incredibly corny, but there's a knife I really liked in Murder Mystery 2 called Fusion, so that's some of the inspiration, and I kid you not, the other reason I picked it is because of a Fortnite skin. What is my most clutch moment in Twisted? To be honest, I have too many closed calls just to pick one. Just watch like any video and there will be like 5 insanely close calls most likely. So yeah, I don't even remember all of them, to be honest. What was my reaction towards every major wind speed record in Twisted? Not including the first few weeks of updates when the record was stuff only like 290s or slightly higher. I think the biggest revelation for me when it comes to Twisted records was definitely 388, because that's when I think stuff started getting to like, okay, this is a little out of hand. Maybe things shouldn't be able to get necessarily this strong. And then 1.21 rolled around and 400 started happening, and I was like, okay, maybe we've gone too far. We need to maybe dial it back just a little bit for future updates. What would I say sucks about Michigan because I said I hate Michigan? So I'm from this silly little piece of land called Ohio, and that means I hate Michigan by default with no reason to hate it at all. I've actually been to Michigan and it was pretty nice, other than the fact that it was raining for my entire vacation there. But yeah, I don't actually hate Michigan. It's just something I say because I'm from Ohio. Who is the best Twisted YouTuber apart from myself? There's definitely a couple contenders for this, like Zach, Roustar, Jesse. They all make amazing content, but I think far and away the most talented editor in the Twisted community is Tofu. As far as when it comes to like the average video anyway. I know Jesse is also extremely talented, but I don't mean to sound like I'm putting anybody down here. I just think Tofu's editing style fits Twisted the best by far. How's my experience been going from just a normal Twisted YouTuber to being on the staff team? So the staff team is more like moderators and administrators and contributors and them. I'm not really on the staff team. However, I do have close connections with people on the staff team, and I have done a lot of things for the game, including test out new updates, being part of the media team, you know, making trailers and stuff. And honestly, with the people I've gotten to work with so far, it's been an amazing experience. And well, that was the last question. So that is going to wrap up this video. I do hope you enjoyed. If you have any more questions that you didn't get to ask during the time while the questions were up, feel free to leave a comment and ask your question there. But for now, I'll see you guys soon. Peace.